you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Now, as the average Pyro viewer, I'm not sure whether many of you have experienced the inside of prison. The only time I have is by playing various video games, like for example, Dishonored, Splinter Cell Double Agent. But I can tell by playing those games, the inside of prison does not look very nice. Now, one of the first things you need to do, what video games have told me when you get into prison, is to change your clothes. You're then escorted into your cell, and then you're seduced by the cell block officer. I'm sure that this is a very normal experience for everyone, but what you might not find very typical is said interaction being recorded, filmed, and then used in court against you. Now, this is a pretty short story I found when I was like, scrolling YouTube shorts at like 4 in the morning. Now, in the UK, you have a prison called HMP Wandsworth.
This is Wandsworth.
Yeah, it's one person under restraint there. The wing looks secure.
You got to be able to defend yourself, innit? If you can't defend yourself, then you'll become a victim, innit?
The prison officers pushed to the very edge.
I think I'm probably the most stressed I've been in 24 years in this job.
And this is a prison that has been under a lot of drama at the minute for one particular reason. To any viewers that are watching outside the UK, if you're not in the UK, there have been like so many memes and jokes about this at the minute, just plastered absolutely everywhere.
Take me! I want to go to HMP Wandsworth! Take me!
I'll be honest, like recently, I actually feel proud to be British. Usually I'm not. Usually I'm embarrassed. The only cope that we have is we're not America, so we're like 2% better. But like there has been a lot of drama stories happening in the UK for a change, because usually stuff never happens here. It's always like some streamer in America or something. Now, the woman who is the protagonist of this story, which is quite surprising because usually I only really talk about men on here, is Linda de Sousa. Now, if you go on her profile right now, you'll see her name and then prison guard, HMP Wandsworth, martial arts lover, happy mother, and wife. And looking at her pictures, she's obviously someone that keeps up with her physique. She works out. She said herself that she's a martial arts lover. 2, 1. But then if you scroll down a little bit more, you might notice that she is an OnlyFans content creator. Now, don't worry, this isn't going to be a video of like, how dare you have an OnlyFans and you work at a prison? What a bad influence you are. You're going to turn all the inmates into cocks.
Oh my.
But after recent events that have occurred, you'll notice that she's posted an Instagram highlight story of her basically saying that she isn't allowed in the prison anymore. I mean, to work in the prison anymore. Now, this is a really awkward situation to be put in, especially because of the fact she's married. If you don't know, and it's taken me a little bit to explain it, because if I said it in the first 20 seconds of the video, YouTube would demonetize me and age restrict the video. She, as an employee of the prison, as a guard, she did a bit of the birds and the bees with one of the inmates. On top of that as well, with her being married, apparently the inmate that she did the birds and the bees with, this guy is also apparently in a committed relationship with his pregnant girlfriend. So all I'm saying is this is really a situation where nobody gets a happy ending. I just don't understand the thought process of like, if you're gonna like lay mad pipe in prison, why would you film it? Why would you film it? Everything inside of prison is so heavily monitored. Now, she wasn't just fired, she was actually arrested for this. I'm not sure what the actual technicality is. I'm just going to say no laying pipe in prison allowed. Now, she's on conditional bail at the minute and will return to court on the 29th of this month. Now, I did actually have to look in the charges because I really don't want to like end the video by saying that she was laying mad pipe. So the current charges at the minute, the charge states that the accused willfully and without reasonable excuse or justification misconducted yourself in a way which amounted to an abuse of the public's trust in the office holder by engaging in a sexual act with a prisoner in a prison cell. Now, again, this really does bring up like a very bizarre, like kind of like gender role swap thing, because if this was like a male prisoner with a female officer, people would just be screaming, you're a monster. Like how could you do this? You took advantage of this woman. Like, you are a monster. You are someone in a position of power. But because it's a woman officer doing it with a male inmate, all the memes are just like, "Way, get in, lad. I wish that was me. Way." Like, no one apart from the people that arrested her actually seemed to think that this is like a bad thing, that is so bizarre to me. I mean, I guess it was consensual, even though it's not. Like, honestly, I don't know how often this happens in prisons, but when I read this story, I just thought it was genius. Now, for any of you that want me to lore master a little bit more on the guy that she actually did this with, surprisingly, they've flat out named him. Like, I actually thought there'd be like a protected person or something, but they've just said it. So this guy's called Linton Werrick, and he was basically arrested for around 4 years for burglary. And the best thing as well, while he was robbing homes, apparently at the same time, he was wearing an electronic tag. And it's also came out that the guy that was, you know, doing this with the prison guard, he's not really going to be facing any punishment for this. This quote, I've got to read it because it is just, it's glorious. Furious victims of HMP Wandsworth inmate filmed having sex with female prison guard slam reports he won't face police investigation over his actions as they claim this is not what we thought it meant. To get hard time in prison. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Now, back onto the girl. You can tell, like, you know, she's making jokes and stuff on her Insta Reels that she's like, oh, I can't really go here anymore. I'll be honest. I feel that this could be really good for her. Now, hear me out. She's fired from being the prison, you know, working as a prison officer, right? And she has to go to court where she'll probably be fined, maybe some community service at most. But the thing is, she's an OnlyFans model, right? And I feel that this amount of notoriety that she's got herself doing right now is perfect. I mean, I'll be honest, this is the exact same reason why the Kardashians blown up. You know, like that sex tape between Kim and Ray J.
Man, Ray J, let me tell you something, homie. When you jacking off to this, when you really just in your zone, go hard on them, homie.
This is the exact kind of notoriety you need to blow up as an OnlyFans model, so then you can start, you know, telling, because I'm pretty sure that so many people never even knew this woman existed, and her follower count ever since this like has happened has blown up again because she is a woman in the sex worker industry. If this was a man, guaranteed he would have like thousands of women flood his account saying like, you're a predator, you took advantage of a woman, how could you? But it's weird to see that because she's a woman, she really doesn't seem to be getting that much backlash. I mean, you can see her stepping outside like the Crown Court and stuff, and she's like, you know, wearing sunglasses, covering her face, all that kind of stuff. So she seems to almost be showing shame there, but at the same time, like on her Instagram, it's a totally different story. Also, on top of that as well, there have been court sketches released of her, because obviously anyone that goes into court now gets a court sketch. She looks terrible in the court sketch, like absolutely disheveled. But again, like I feel like in court you kind of have to look really sad and mopey and serious, because you know, if you go in there just like smiling or something, it's not really going to be a good look for you. I'll be honest as well, I think this is like the last thing the prison needs is a rep in the UK, because at the minute UK prisons have like some of the worst ratings across Europe. Like the inside of prisons are disgusting. Like there is huge overcrowding problems at the minute, and it's actually proven that like the majority of people that actually end up going to prison just reoffend anyway and then end up going back to prison. But yeah, what's the moral of today's story? Don't have sex in prison? I don't know.